Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Disney Servers, the series where I go around different servers in the game of Minecraft, all dedicated to, or heavily dedicated to, recreating all, some, or most of the Disney parks. And today we're checking out another new server, and this server is MC Amusement. Now, if you want to connect to this server, the IP is mcamusement.com. It is a Disneyland server. They are working on both Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure, and it's actually a really impressive server. So first off, what I was really impressed with was it's got this own texture pack, auto downloads, really fantastic. It does something similar to what MC Magic does with the Magic Band as sort of a hub for links that you can use to get around and learn different things about the server, except here, instead of a Magic Band, it's your smartphone. So if you right click, you get your smartphone and you've got your player information there. You've got a guide here to all your attractions. You've got a list of your online cast members, achievements, resource pack. Hotel reservations are working on, a backpack to hold things, a link to their website, like all this really cool stuff, their list of their rules. It's very useful. Now, I will say this server, among all the servers we visited, is I think the most of that is a work in progress. But I will say, even though it is, very much a work in progress, the things they're doing are just really clever. So let's go through the attractions list here. There are a lot of things that aren't open yet, especially you go to like something like a Tomorrowland and you see a lot of these are not open yet. It's mainly just Autopia and Astra Orbiter. If we go back maybe to Fantasyland, we've only got the Matterhorn. So, they're still working on things, Haunted Mansion and Pirates. But what really impressed me is how they do things. So let's go check out Autopia first. What impressed me is that the attractions on this server are highly interactive, almost to a level that is more interactive than the real attractions are. Let's take Autopia, for instance. This is an attraction where, you're driving in a little gas car that is on a track. As far as the interaction in the real world goes, it's pretty much just steering a little bit to the left and the right and holding down on the pedal. But there's actually more to it here in the MC Amusement version, which I think is really fun and actually makes it pretty competitive. So let's go ahead and join the queue. Similar to MC Magic, it's got somewhat of a queue system. It's got a bit of a cooldown wait, so I guess you can have groups queue up together. So we're gonna go ahead and wait a couple seconds, and then we're gonna hop on the Autopia. So another thing which I'm not using, and I don't use in any of these videos just because I like to edit them after the fact, is that this also offers an audio server. By which I mean when you type /audio in the game, in the chat, it'll generate a link just for you, and when you open that link into a browser, it will pull up a website that will play Disney park music based on where you're located. But before we get into that, let's look at Autopia here. So what's really cool about Autopia is once we get into it, the way it works is it's sort of like a mini game. There are going to be 3 blocks on the bottom bar. There's going to be red, yellow, and green. And depending on what you have selected, the speed of your car changes. And as you can see, these blocks are constantly changing. So you can't just sit it on fast and leave it. You have to constantly move it around. And so here's a ride where there's not a whole lot of interactivity in the real world, but it actually becomes sort of like a racing game. If you get your friends on here and you all start at the same time, you guys are sort of racing and using your skills and changing which block you have selected to try and get faster than your friends and try and get to the finish line. And that makes it really fun and really competitive. And this is one of those attractions where I think on any other server, you might go on for fun, but it's pretty much you start it, you hop into the cart, and you just sit back and let things take over. But here, you have a very active role in what you're doing to make this attraction go. And that makes it very fun. And the cool part is it's not 100% necessary. If I do want to just sit back and relax, I could just let it constantly loop through these different blocks, and the speed will vary, but it'll just go on its own anyway. So it's completely optional. And as you can see, it keeps your time, so you could try and get better times, and it gives you incentive to replay and go on it again and again, as well as giving you achievements, which are of course an obvious popular mechanic that you see in a lot of video games today. I want to show you another example of how they add some interactivity to these attractions, and we're going to stay in Tomorrowland, and we're going to head on over to Astra Orbiter. Now here's an attraction that, again, has very limited interactivity, both in the real world and in Minecraft. There we go. It is essentially you sit in the little rocket and you can raise the ship or lower the ship, and that's about as much freedom as you get in the real world. And while they don't turn it into like a mini game the way they did with Autopia, they do add that interactivity into this attraction, which is really cool because I've seen other versions of Astra Orbiter and Dumbo and rides like that, and sometimes they come in the form of just like a little sort of hilly minecart track that goes up and down. Sometimes they are minecarts that will just sort of move up and down on their own without a track. This one, I think, is the closest I've seen to like a proper or like accurate recreation. As you can see here, you're sitting in a minecart. It's got this sort of string, which I can only imagine is maybe it's like the fishing line that connects it as the rod. And then as the ride actually begins, the interactive element takes over, and we're given this little red carpet and this green carpet. And when you select the green carpet, your rocket rises up. And it goes up all the way to the top here. And if I switch to red, it'll lower down. And so, yeah, you're not doing anything outside of what you do in the real ride. But the idea is you get to actually emulate that interactivity on the real ride. And to me, this is like one of the things that really made me want to show off and highlight this server a little early. You know, initially when I looked at it, I saw so much was under construction, and I thought it might be better to wait until it was a little more complete. But the amount of interactivity being added to these attractions as they are completed just sort of, I think, in my mind, justifies the time it'll take to put them all together. And then overall, just a really great experience. You know, I came on one of my alts and, you know, without them knowing who I was, one of the cast members offered to show me around and show me all the cool things that you could do on the server. Very nice about it. Everything runs really smoothly. The audio server works well. Are we done? Great. Just a really great experience so far. I have been given some tours, you know, months back when they first started working on the server and shown some of the things that they're working on. And I'm not going to go into detail about them yet today because I don't know how much of it they're keeping a secret and how much of it's known. Suffice to say that they showed me some technology that, one, I never in a million years would have expected in the game of Minecraft, and just got me really excited because it's just a whole new level of fidelity in recreating these parks that, you know, way back in the early days of getting into Minecraft Disney World, never would have expected it. Another cool thing, they've got some of these like little mini games here. Like, so for instance, one of the first things they showed me was the little shooting gallery, which they've got over in the parks. And so you just go ahead and set yourself up, and little targets will pop up, and you'll have a bow and arrow, and you'll shoot the targets. I mean, it's pretty simple. There's nothing groundbreaking with this here, but it's cool that it's here, and it works pretty smoothly. And also, it can be really difficult, and I'm not that good at it. Here we go. Boom. I guess it's a lot easier when I'm not fighting against anybody, because before I was playing against other people, and that was difficult. Diamond. Get the diamond. So overall, this is just a really promising Disneyland server. They're sort of going with more laser focus, whereas like one of the benefits of an MC Parks is that they're trying to cover a whole bunch of different theme parks. They are sort of taking the more focused approach, similar to like a MC Magic, where they're just focusing on Disneyland, and they're really trying to add as much fidelity and detail and interactivity and so much to make it like a really next level Disneyland server. And I guess we'll end it off by checking out one more attraction, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, see how one of the, you know, more thrilling rides looks on the server. I do know that they are planning on working on shows, which has me really excited because as far as like parades go, I mean, I think they're working on Fantasmic, which is cool, and I'm all for that. But I'm hoping they're working on the parades, because Disneyland right now has what I consider to be the best Disney parade ever created, which is Paint the Night. And if they can, you know, recreate Paint the Night with even a fraction of the amount of detail that they've been recreating these other attractions, I'm going to be really, really excited to see it in action. And so, yeah, it's a shorter look. Again, like the other servers, like MC Parks, like MC Magic, this is a server that I would love to come back to, and I would love to do more, whether it's interviewing some of the people who worked on building some of this great stuff, or talking about what they have planned for the future, or maybe even showing off a little bit of the stuff that they're working on. This definitely is not going to be my last time coming back to MC Amusements. If you want to learn more about the server, including how you can connect to it and how you can play on Minecraft yourself, all you have to do is head on over to their website. Their website is mcamusement.us. I want to thank you all for watching. If you have a server you would like to suggest for this series, all you have to do is let me know in the comments below. The only rules I'm sticking to are that it has to have a big primary focus on Disney, and it has to be open to the public. Like this, like MC Parks, like MC Magic, not everything is going to be 100% completed, and that's just fine. But as long as it's open and people who watch the videos can eventually go on and explore the server themselves, then I think it's all kosher. You could also let me know on Twitter. I'm @RobPlays. Again, I want to thank you all for watching. Have a great week. Whatever you're doing, make the most of it because it makes it that much better. And I hope to see you all next time for the next episode of Minecraft Disney Servers. Bye, everybody. The nation has spoken, Christine, and it's Team Cap all the way.
I mean, I'm technically like Team Iron Man, but then Hawkeye's on Team Cap, so obviously I'm like, whatever.
You're technically wrong then.